We're live. We're live. We're live. Hey, everybody! Welcome to week 5.
I don't know. We lose track every week.
I think it's
5
or 6 because we
Week
did
5.
the one. We did
Yeah.
the one before the draft, and then we did the one the week of week 1.
And we're 1 week ahead of us of the
So
standings.
6.
So
So
we're week 6.
Because week 5 is happening this week.
Yes. Okay, so welcome to week 6 of the Salty Runback. I'm your host, Jacob Quality Crawford. As always, I am joined by Sean Yummy Masu Shannon, who is somewhere around me.
He's
Christopher
down.
Perpetual Tilt, who does not have a camera, so he's somewhere over here. And then Justin Squints Rhodes, he's somewhere over here. I'm just going to do hand motions, and I'll inevitably point to the right person. So we've got a decent lineup today. We've got a couple of guests that are coming in for a presentation. We're going to do our natural stuff that we've always done when we run back the week. We talk about players to watch. We get some games to watch and that kind of thing. But before we get to any of that, we have another contest for you guys. So this contest I have dubbed Win 10. And the way that this works is... I'm just gonna read off my spiel that I wrote. So the name of the game is Win 10, and as the name implies, the way it's played is by getting to 10 wins in League of Legends. However, the one thing standing in your way of these 10 wins is a potentially off-meta, off-lane, off-build, and almost genuinely troll pick placed in your hands. So you'll have to overcome our sadistic nature. Sometimes we'll come up with these with ourselves. Sometimes we'll just slap them onto a generator and we'll generate a pick for you guys. But anytime we run this contest, this is the way it goes. So whoever gets to 10 wins with the exact champion, lane assignment, and build and reports it to yours truly first wins $10 worth of RP. You have basically until the next episode of the Runback, which are usually either Monday or Tuesday of the following week. And this contest goes until somebody reports to me that they have won and I announce the victor on the page, or we get to the end of the week and somebody shows me that they've gotten closest to it. And so your arena of torture is Summoner's Rift. You can only play on Summoner's Rift. You can't do this shit in ARAM. You can't do this, in customs. It only can be on Summoner's Rift, and it has to either be a normal game, a flex game, or a solo queue game. We hold absolutely no accountability on your LP. That's all on you. So if you want to run this in solo queue or flex queue, that's on you, but we take all the credit if you win. So that's all there is to it on that. And so, like I said, it runs until the next episode of the show or until I announce it on the page. So if you don't see an announcement from me, assume that basically the contest is still going and that you have the time to get in your 10 games and get your 10 victories in. These have to be victories, not just 10 games, 10 wins. And so your champion role and build for this week is... title of my own creation. I'm calling it Invizzlesticks, aka Dustblade Mythic Fiddlesticks. I'm gonna at least give you guys the jungle for this time around so you can be in your natural habitat. But your lane is going to be your build is going to be Berserker's Greaves, Duskblade, Umbleglaive, the Collector, Sereldas, and Yomu's Ghostblade. No other items. Those are the exact items you have to build. I don't care if you built them out of order, but those are the items you have to get. So you're running basically lethality fiddlesticks in the jungle, and the first person to report to me that they have won 10 games on it gets $10 worth of RP.
Easy.
Sean, you can't win, but you can definitely participate. All right, so
I'm quitting the run back.
we're going to jump over into our segment that our Chris's have come with us today. They're going to be doing first and second division power rankings and doing a little bit of player rankings, I believe. And speaking of which, I need to get those over into your hands, Chris, because they linked the doc to me. So if we want to pull that up,
Sure, yeah.
versus us being all on screen together, this will actually help us out a lot. I'm going to message you on Discord.
Sure.
There you go.
How do I win if I get banned for entering Tambourine King? $10 is actually the amount of RP that you need to pay Riot to unban your account.
There you go. So Get those 10 wins. I believe somebody can make lethality Duskblade Fiddlesticks work.
Question. They don't have any rankings on here. Are they doing them live?
I think they're doing them live.
Okay, all right.
Is the gimmick here. So I'm gonna abuse those guys over here, and if we're good to go, or are we good to go? Are we set up?
Yeah. I mean, just whenever.
Try and bring them in here. Yeah.
Get in here, guys.
Don't look at the overlay. Stop it.
Hello.
Quit. All right.
Nobody look at the other way. So this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first and second division power rankings, and this is your new player rankings as well, right?
Just this week we should have power rankings for you. We have been a little busy. This week, so we will be having power rankings next week.
You mean individual rankings next week?
Yeah, individual rankings. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna turn the floor over to you guys. Go wild. Start us off.
Cool. Go ahead.
You want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So the way we had this set up, we were going to just go like one at a time for alternating first places, and then second and then third, like in order. We'll start with Division 1 and then go to Division 2. So, I'm biased. He's biased. First pick for me for D1 is Draft Diff. So reason being, even though they've had back-to-back 1-1 weeks and clearly look vulnerable, I mean, being on the team, I know we haven't practiced in 3 weeks, so that's probably part of that. And I think the team itself is gonna piece that back together this week, especially because we're practicing, and I think we're just a little bit better than most of the teams in the group, like by like a little bit. I think teams are catching up now that they're practicing though, so the gap is much smaller than it was like week 1. And that's my pick.
Honestly, yeah, for my first place, it's gonna have to go to Draft Diff as well. I don't think it's any shock to anyone who's been following the upper division. Draft Diff's been on they've been on a big tear through pretty much every week except the past 2. And yeah, like you said, alternating 1-1s do in fact make them look vulnerable, so there is a lot of opportunity for teams to improve and take them down. But, right now, no one has yet to do it, and so until we start seeing results, I think it's best to err on the side of throwing them first.
Yeah. So for my second team, I'm actually sticking to the standings this time. I'm choosing CS Gap, who are currently 4-4. The reason I'm choosing CS Gap is because as of late, they've been having some success. So I think they had a 2-0 in week 3, if I remember correctly, over BLR.
Mm-hmm.
And last week they had a 1-1. I expected a 2-0 last week, but I think it was kind of sloppy. But I think they're figuring their stuff out, and they look a little bit stronger. They're also the only team of the bunch that are 4-4 to have a 2-0 win. The rest are all 1-1s. So I believe they're the only team that has shown that they can 2-0 other teams.
Never doubt Finale's ability to 1-1.
That is true.
I hate how
And-
Finale is don't doubt their ability, but Popo was they could still throw. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up.
It's just because it's you, Sean.
Yeah,
Come on.
Pretty simple, just don't throw.
Yeah.
Oh, man. For my money, it's really tough to rank these next few teams, which, I mean, if anyone just looks at the standings in the vacuum, you would think it should be really tough to rank these few teams. So, wow. Man, we pay you so much for analysis. It's incredible, man. Where'd you get that expert analysis? But for my money, I got CS Gap sitting in a very tenuous second place as well. But especially going into next week, I really think it's anyone's game.
Yeah, I would concur. So this is kind of where things get a little weird, because even though there's 2 teams that are 4-4, I actually believe that one of the 3-5 teams is my third place team, and that's going to be NCS. I've been pretty high on them all season. They have been a little sloppy, I will say, and shocking in terms of like how well I thought they would play. I thought they would play much cleaner and be much more successful. But if they can take a 2-0 in this last week, I would not be surprised. I think that they definitely have a chance. I mean, they're playing, I believe. Hold on, thinking CS gap. Yes, so I think they have a chance because I think these two teams are actually very, very close. So, and also NCS, I believe are the only team that has played with their full roster every game, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
No,
that's true.
we've played with everybody.
Oh, and Finale.
Oh,
So, but I believe they're the team that's probably the most practiced as a whole 5-man unit, and they are probably, I think that's going to show through in this final week, especially because they have the most experience under the belt as a 5-man roster. And so I'm hoping that they will prove me right and 2-0 this week, but CS Gap I do think is slightly ahead of them right now. So.
And I'm going to switch it up here for my third place as well. It's going to be Finale being thrown in third place from me. And, I mean, the reason being for this is I do like the consistency. You know, Jacob, you have a great point. Finale can, in fact, 1-1 anyone. And this is a team that, to me, just looks like they're consistently vibing, doing their thing. They're going out there. And for me, you know, it would be difficult to see Finale just like winning the split in a shocker to me right now, but if they were gonna win the split in a shocker, I'd have them ranked first. So at least as it stands, if I expected that, then I'd rank them first. But honestly, yeah, it's the consistency is kind of what sells Finale for me, and so I'm gonna throw them in third.
We're the 8-8 team that made playoffs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, consistently
It's the
inconsistent.
consistency for me.
It's consistency.
Oh, hey, you got your
Oh,
camera
what
working.
up?
Hey.
You can see my Mexican
Nice.
food over here.
Oh,
That's racist.
Yikes.
And on that note, my fourth place team. So this is the one that was the hardest for me because I was choosing between two teams, and you can probably guess which ones they were. I really struggled because I feel like AOT, I haven't been able to see their full potential yet. They've had a lot of subs, and I haven't been able to see like what they look like as a full roster with like their full setup. And I hope this week I can see that. That'd be very cool. I just am not sure what to think because I'm kind of high on them right now, but I also think Finale has proven me wrong and are definitely on the uptrend. So I'm gonna stick with AOT. This is my gut feeling. AOT is number 4. That's what I had before this. Coming into this, I'm gonna stick with that. AOT number 4. Hopefully they prove me right. We'll see.
and oh man, this is such a rough choice for me, especially because I'm kind of high on the Neil's Crab Shack action, just like you are, Chris. I feel like Neil's Crab Shack has some very high highs, and it just makes me think that if anyone's gonna just randomly turn it up and like dump on someone, it would be in CS. But I just think for my money, Axolotls on top is gonna get the nod over Neil's Crab Shack here from me.
Fair enough.
I'm going to interject real quickly.
Yeah.
As a reminder, Blue Otter League is happening right now, correct?
True.
And our
Correct.
boys, the Mystic Cats, are playing. So if you don't have them pulled up on your phone or monitor 2, get them pulled up on your phone /monitor 2, right? Meow, so they can get the view counts. So support them in the chat as you either listen to us or listen to the OK casting that's available over there. Okay, go ahead.
Toxic.
Yes,
Is that flame?
Yeah, I want to get back over there to my lads, so we'll finish this guy out. 5th place, fifth ranked team in upper division. Okay, so this one for me is the other 4-4 team. It's gonna be Finn here, Finale. I do think that because there's only 6 teams and they're all kind of close, this is gonna be very misleading. Like you're gonna look at Finale, and then obviously my last team is gonna be BLR. You're gonna look at this and be like, oh, like why so down on these two teams? I'm not really down on them actually. I think they're actually capable of beating probably any of these teams. I mean, BLR 1-1's DD, so I mean it's possible for any of these teams to pull off any type of win. So it's just that I feel like at the current moment, based on what I've seen on performance and how I've gauged them when we've played them, this is where I think these teams stand. The only team I haven't played is Finn, but after watching their games, all of their 1-1s, they have some sloppiness to clean up, but they seem consistent. BLR has sloppiness, but seem kind of inconsistent about when they're sloppy.
Yeah,
so
fair.
It's very tough to say that they'd be like up in the middle somewhere. So that's why I have these two as the last two in that order.
And I am going to go ahead and slot Neil's Crab Shack in here in the 5th place, and then follow it up with Bung's Last Resort in 6th place. I mean, I think we're pretty much in agreement that Bung's Last Resort is probably on paper going to take last place for us at the moment, but also we're also both in agreement that realistically it's anyone's ball game from this point forward, because Bung's Last Resort has especially had some very scary performances coming off the back of people like Fish Baby Bot, who've been putting in a lot of work towards the second half of the split. And you know, just because I have Bung's Last Resort here ranked here, I don't think we should sleep on any of these teams. Realistically, It's going to take all of these teams playing 100% from here on out for, I feel like, for my rankings to have any chance of being proven correct. Because you know, week to week, and especially it is PMA LCS, this isn't our day jobs. We're not paid to play at our highest level. I really think that, you know, these teams are so close that it's kind of a crapshoot. Is okay. Who do you think's gonna have the who do you think's gonna have the guy who screwed up his sleep schedule this week on his team? You know, who's that gonna be? You know,
That's so real, actually.
It's like very true. It's like random stuff in life that just impacts games, and I think that's quite literally how some teams like either win or lose each week. It's like, oh, someone's feeling really good that day, and they just happen to pop off and win their game. Someone's tired, maybe they don't focus, they lose. It's just how it goes. So, absolutely agree. All right, you want to move on to Div 2?
Yeah.
I'm down for the Div 2.
All right, now this league is spicy. They have some fun games, I will say.
No kidding,
and
man.
this past week, whew, the GDN game, I don't know if you caught that one. That was a
Did
banger.
get that one, or at least bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, so GDN, I mean, they are my number one currently, and they have been consistent since week 1. They were actually my second place team week 1, and since then have just, I think they had 1-1 week. That was like against Doms actually, which is what the team I had first. And then since then, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. They've just been stomping. So they look really, really good. I don't think there's any argument that could be made that they're not first. Maybe you could say like, I don't even know if you could say anyone else is first at this point. So yeah, I think they're just unanimous first for me if I were like 5 votes.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is an uncontested first as well. It's the only team that's even been able to 1-1 them thus far has been Doms, and not to take away from GDN, because not to take away from any the other teams in this bracket, because a lot of teams have had close games against against GDN, but as it turns out, GDN's clutch factor just keeps coming back, and even when it looks like they're actually maybe possibly going to lose a game, they always manage to you know, put forth a really well constructed team fight, make something happen, find a pick on someone. As you were saying, I think GDN's an uncontested first as it stands right now.
Yeah. Okay. Second place, I'm gonna get some flame for sure. But
Let's hear
I
it.
personally think second place is actually Teacock. Now,
Ooh, he's biased. Blame this guy.
Okay, listen. I had them last for the first week and the second week, and then I had them 7th or 6th for the third week. But man, have they improved like miles since week 1. Like I'm talking like a Goliath amount. It's insane. Watching them in practice, I mean, I'm obviously the only one here who's seen that, but they play really well. And the last 2 weeks, they 2-0'd twice. They are on an uptrend, and they just 2-0'd, I believe it was Dom's last week. Was it Dom's? No, it wasn't Dom's. It was Bim. Bim, right. They 2-0'd Bim last week, and they looked, I think, pretty dang good doing it. Like almost extremely clean, except for I think game 2 was a little sloppy, but game 1 was very strong. And I foresee them beating every team out from the rest of the, maybe not GDN, but everybody else. I think they will absolutely beat. So they look very good.
I would very much agree. I think Teacock is slept on in general right now. I'm not sure as to how much they're being slept on, because I think a decent amount of people might be in agreement that Teacock is at least probably at the moment playing slightly better than their record shows.
Mm-hmm.
For my money, I'm gonna go ahead and throw Four Tops on the bottom in second place, and honestly, second, third, and fourth are very hotly contested in Div 2 right now.
Agreed.
And the reason for this is Four Tops and the bottom, the team with the best win rate, in my opinion, of the next 3 teams that I'm gonna slot in here, also have had one of the weakest strength of schedules, as they have yet to play Doms, and they have yet to play Gank These Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Have they played Teacock yet at all? I don't remember.
They did. They 2-0'd Teacock week 1, I think.
You guys week 1. Yeah, and so then that was Teacock before they'd improved, which makes that a little more contentious of an issue. But
yeah.
I think going forward, like Four Tops and a bottom is definitely going to have to stay on top of their game to make sure that the other teams don't catch up to them, because there's definitely some rocket ships of improvement being launched from Cape Canaveral down in the 3rd and 4th and 5th places of this division. So Four Tots better watch out. But right now, I think I'm gonna give them second.
Cool. And to clarify something, the reason that I confidently put teams that aren't like necessarily winning games or on the record doesn't show like their strength is because when I make these power rankings, I think of it as, how do I view this team currently? As of right now, would they be able to beat the other team like that I would rank them against? And so that's how I view it. I don't really care that much about record. Obviously, I use that information to help guide me based on like what they've shown. But at the end of the day, is if I think that team can beat the other team. So right now, I think Teacock can beat Four Top. Is basically what I'm saying with that. And that's what it's their current strength, not what is their how is their season shaped up? How do they look after their games are played? So that's why I do that. Okay, so pick 3. My pick 3 actually is Four Top. I think I agree with everything you said about them. They have a weak strength of schedule, but they looked pretty good in their wins and have surprised me mostly throughout the season. But I think they're going to continue to play at least decently well, and they'll probably finish out, I think, top 3 or 4. So, pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can both agree that Four Tops and a bottom is definitely a top 4 destination in this split.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really hard to contest that. And for my 3rd place, this is really contentious for me, as I mean, considering you're one of the coaches of Teacock and I'm one of the coach of Doms, I think it's I think we got some biases to come up against here.
Biases,
But as far as I'm concerned, Teacock and Doms are absolutely very evenly matched right now. And even when Teacock 2-0'd them, they were extremely close games. And so, in general, I have both these teams overall evenly matched, but just looking in the standings, Teacock 2-0'd them. And I could say, honestly, it was definitely an off week for us, but I don't think we're going to let those excuses fly as it stands. I'm going to have to put Teacock in 3rd right now.
Hey, the boys live.
Always do live, bro.
Yeah, I would say I definitely agree. Dom's is very, very close. Like I think all of these teams in the second through fourth position are going to be fairly equal when it shapes up the next couple weeks. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. If any of these teams play, I know Teacock already played Doms. I don't know if Four Top has played Doms yet. No, they haven't. So that matchup will be very interesting to see who wins that, and that will actually shape up. That will kind of tell us who's going to be stronger in these top 4 positions. So that'll be very cool. All right, and obviously that means my next pick is going to be Dom's. Woo!
I think
And
don't
yours
think
as
that
well.
one surprises anyone. Hey, at least our power rankings definitely agree on one of these teams.
Yeah, I mean Dom's, like you said, they look pretty good. I think they had a little stumble against Teacock, but I also think Teacock's playing way better. So, you know, who's to say whether that was Dom? I mean, they look really close. The games were really close. So maybe it was just unlucky. They lost a couple games in a best of 10. Maybe they go 5-5. You know, so who's to say? But I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah, what catches my eye from Dom's is the 1-1 against Gank These Nuts, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that going forward, they have a relative... I'll be honest, if Dom's plays at the top of their game, I think they had a reasonably hard strength of schedule towards the first half of the split. And going forward, I think you're going to see Dom's playing against a lot of teams where if you want to put Dom's top 3, top 2, you would expect Dom's to be consistently 2-0ing
Yes.
most of the teams from this point forward.
Absolutely. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We are on number 5. So number 5 for me is going to be BEE, and BEE has been I don't want to say underwhelming, but not. I expected them to do a little bit better or perform a little bit better up until like how they've played up until now. I still have high hopes for this team. And so I think that they're actually capable of getting up into the top 4. I mean, they're currently, I think, tied for 4th, I believe. Is that correct? Tied for 4th?
It helps them when their coach actually shows up for things.
XD.
What's a
Whoever
coach?
put this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I
He
think
probably should have showed up this last week.
with a little improvement, they coaching will actually help them a lot. I think with a little improvement, they will be up there with the rest of the guys in that top 4. So they have been, I think, they've been pretty consistent in terms of the way they played the game. They've had the games that they've lost, I think they made some major there was some major decision making things that went wrong, and it was towards like mid to late game, and it looked like they just were at the wrong place at the wrong time, or at the wrong time, just like made weird choices and then just lost the game from there. So practicing that a little bit more. Their early game looks fine. They look like they know what they're doing in their lanes. So, I mean, once they get to the point where they're cohesive as a team, they'll perform better, I believe. So they're my 5th place.
And I'm going to go ahead and switch it up with you and throw the Gunji Gang over here in 5th place right now. And I think the reason I've done this is I think once again this is a consistency pick, sort of similar to the thing I had going on up in Upper Division where I had Axolotls on top ranked over Neil's Crab Shack. I'm going to throw a Gunji Gang extra zesty here because I like the consistency and I like what they have to offer, and I feel very confident locking them down in this 5th place slot. And yeah, I will say once Bee's Knees gets moving, you could easily see these rankings being changed. And I think Bee's Knees versus Gunji Gang extra zesty is a really that's a really tough one to guess at the moment, but I'm gonna go ahead and give the nod to Gunji Gang for the consistency.
How are you going to get more consistent than going 2-0 or 0-2 every other week?
I think that's the definition of inconsistent.
Shut up. It's
worry
consistently
about it.
inconsistent.
Consistently inconsistent might be consistent.
Exactly. You know exactly where they stand. They 2-0 every single team you would think they're better than. They O2 every team that you would think would beat them. Consistency, you know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Good stuff. Yes, and speaking of consistency, this is a consistent team that I'm putting next. It is GGEZ, just like you said. They're consistent. They play the same way every game. I mean, they have the same pretty much couple carries that do their jobs, and what the mistakes come, where they're getting their losses, is later in the game. It's the same as BEE actually. It's decision-making stuff. They are in the wrong place at the wrong time. They get picked out. Then they're fighting a 4v5 in an objective, and what do you know? They lose. So it's the same kind of stuff. I'm hoping BEE improves. If both these teams improve those things, they're actually probably on equal playing field to second through, I think, second, third, fourth teams. So those 2 through 4 teams are currently a little bit better at their late game stuff. And obviously GDN is a step above that. They're like pretty clean across the board, except they have some close games, but they make less mistakes. So I think the story of this division so far is you make more mistakes, you tend to lose more. So making less of those late game mistakes and polishing that up and making sure you're not getting caught out, not getting picked, to like especially the carry players, then they're going to have a really easy time. Well, not easy time, but they're going to have a much better time playing against the other teams and winning games.
And for my 6th place, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the bee's knees in here, and it's pretty much everything you've iterated so far. I'm gonna go ahead and elaborate a bit and say that I don't think it's much of a surprise that team fighting and mid to late game is becoming the thing that's defining all these teams going forward through this division. As you look at champion pools across the board, and you don't really see that many split pushers or really any comps outside of some very standard, team fighting comps really going through the pools of some of the strongest players in this division. And combine that with the fact that the meta right now really doesn't, in my opinion, favor split pushers that much, and it doesn't really favor poke comps or anything out of the norm. You're seeing a lot of explosive fighting defined by mistakes by teams, mistakes by individuals, the mid, the late game, 5v5, the setups around those objectives, and so if teams are looking to improve going forward, I think the first thing to keep an eye on for every team in this division is that mid to late game decision making. How are you guys moving as a unit? How are you guys getting vision across the map? And how are you setting it up together? And what kind of individuals are making decisions to make sure that pressure is going across the map in a safe way?
Absolutely agree. I mean, I think I speak for all of the coaches of Division 2 teams when we say like that is probably the things we're talking to our teams about the most, is literally what to do after laning phase when you're grouped as a team, or what do you need to do for vision? How are you setting up for these objectives? Because that's like the biggest area where mistakes are made. So I concur. And that leaves us with 2 teams left. So for me, the next one is BFC. And my last team will be BIM. So BFC have been frustrating for me because I really thought they were going to be winning a lot of these games. I thought they were going to pull out the wins and at least go 1-1 in a lot of these matches. But the O2s seem to keep coming, and it's a little disappointing for me because it's just the team that's making the most mistakes loses. And so it's like, oh, if they just hadn't made that one mistake, or just hadn't been caught out there, or hadn't done this or walked there, then maybe they win this game. And so it's really a bummer, but for now they're going to have to be second to last. And then BIM, same kind of deal. I mean, they look the same way. It seems like they are strong early on, or they at least go even. It's never more than like a 1k gold lead either way, usually. Where's this? No data.
There we go. Problem solved.
Yeah, so it's just frustrating for both teams. I think both teams have potential to absolutely win, but it's just they make more mistakes than the rest, and it ends up losing you the game. So.
And I think I'm going to go ahead and hold those rankings pretty consistent. Going to go ahead and slot Blitzcrank's Fist Cranks into the 7th and Jimmy Power Hour into the 8th slot here. And I think this really exemplifies something that I've been, communicating to with other people I've been talking with and stuff is how honestly, like the level of play in the PMA LCS, I think overall has risen quite steadily over the course of the past year and a half, and especially in Division 2 this split, I feel like it's risen drastically. And you look at some of the names that you're seeing on Blitzcrank's, Fistcrank's, Bimmy Jimmy Power Hour, and you just, like, on paper, it leaves you kind of scratching your head as to why these two teams are sitting bottom of the standings. And I think, in general, because the level of play is being elevated, it's getting more organized, we're seeing much more cohesive teamwork and much, quicker of a response time than we're used to. The big thing here is not, the strength of the individuals on paper. That's always important because, these teams at the top of the standings always have standout individuals that are holding them down. But the main thing that's deciding the good team, like, the main thing that's deciding the strong teams versus the ones that are looking inconsistent and having issues is just how cohesive they look as a unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you look at, like, BIM, for example. I mean, for me, I think I had them on paper. I think week 1, I had them in, like, top 2 or something like that, or top 3, like my pre-ranks before the season started. And I mean, you're right. I am scratching my head. I'm like, how these people? I know a lot of these players from, like, playing with them for years, and I'm like, wow, they're pretty good. So it's like, how did they end up bottom of the standings? It's literally just the cohesive teamwork. It's the other teams are playing as a team, like, straight up. They're playing as a 5-man unit, and they make less mistakes doing it. That's it. That's the only difference. So
you'll be amazed at what can be accomplished when you just start ramming 5 people in an area of a map and don't stop pushing.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's true. They don't say NA ARAM for nothing.
So that wraps you guys up, right? So that we're going to
Yep.
be looking for you guys to come back next week for individual
Ooh.
players, right?
Yeah.
Should
I'm
be,
down.
yep.
All right. So hopefully same time next week, depending on how host schedules go, and I'll get you guys filled in on that. And other than that, guys, there are your power rankings provided by the dynamic duo of Chris and Chris.
And unfortunately, I do not have a webcam, so the Blue Lobster will be making its return next week. Those are, in fact, mittens on its pincers, by the way.
Oh, that's
Gotta
actually
stay warm.
adorable.
Oh, we got
Keep the hustle.
Bags.
announcement in chat. First blood cats. I repeat,
First
first
blood
blood
cats.
cats.
First blood
Yeah.
cats,
PogChamp.
boys.
Once again, if you don't got it pulled up, go to Blue Otter League. I've linked it already in the thing. I'm gonna link it one more time. Go support the Mr. Cats. They're playing. They just got first blood. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you. Hope to see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. So
Okay.
moving on for the rest of our doc. Let me get up my doc, actually. All right. So we've got our run back of what has happened. So let's quickly run over standings.
That's the end of the
As-
show, right? That was
You
it?
what?
That was the end of the show?
No, it's not the end of the show. I know. You did a little. You checked out there and you went to go poop. It's okay. I had to get up and fight my dog. Megan has a guest over right now, and Scoop has been a good boy in trying to bite that guest. So
Yes. Just like Sam.
I'll have to run. I'll have to tell you that one later. So our standings right now, as they stand for the PML CS, is Draft Diff is number 1 currently. CS Gap, Xolotls on top, and Finale are all tied for second place with Bung's Last Resort and Neil's Crab Shack rounding out the bottom side of the first division. In second division, we've got Gank These Nuts as the top seed. We've got 4 tops in the bottom as number 2. Dylan Hortense Memorial Stadium is number 3. Bees and 2 coaches, 1 cup are tied for 4th place. Huge Gang Extra Zesty and Blitzcrank's Fist Crank are tied for 5th. Or tied for 6th, excuse me. And then Bimmy Jimmy's Power Hour is unfortunately bringing up the rear at 8th place. So that's where we currently stand as far as everybody going for the as far as standings for both of the leagues. So let's run back our players to watch from last week and let's talk about those guys. And I'm going to open the floor up to Justin first. And Justin's going to tell us about his players to watch from last week. Justin, we can't hear you.
I clicked the button on the thing. Anyway, so my first pick was OP on Draft Diff.
his last week, I'm unfortunately couldn't have watched the game, but I'm looking at stats here. Really, really solid Wukong game 1. He went 9-1-12 game 1. Less so game 2. I don't know what happened there. Should watch that back.
His jungler
but
griefed him on a gank.
yes, the jungle grief. That's why top lost, right? Anyway, anyway, 2-12-18. Still a lot of assists on that score line. But yeah, the 12 deaths were unfortunate.
He did get counterpicked game 2. We'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, we picked the Mordekaiser into that matchup, so it was a little hard for him. But.
Okay, but I did say that was going to be a fun match to watch, especially Opie going up against Light Pulse. I said both of them have something to prove. So, I mean, they proved it. They went 1-1 against each other. So, fun stuff. I'm looking forward to watching that VOD pack. And then the lower division, I had... It wasn't streamed?
No.
Oh, that's so sad.
Unfortunately,
Okay. You'll have to tell me all about it. I'll get a hold of Sebastian and OP and they'll have to tell me all about it. Unfortunate stuff. But my game 2, my lower division, second division player to watch was Necro Guy on 4 tops. Really solid performance by him on both games. And I was surprised to see his game 1. He went 3-0-5, Flame Horizon his lane opponent. Really dominant carry performance on Alawi. Topping the damage charts, all that good stuff. And then he flipped the switch game 2, played Ornn, played, standard tank, went 2-1-13, really proactive play across the map, getting his team that dub.
All right. Sean, how did your players do?
Okay, so last week I had Quadratic and Tambourine King. Quadratic had some really good moments in the mid game on his game 1 set, but did not lane quite the best versus Quick McShit. Quick
McShit.
Shit's me quick.
Quick McShitter.
That's what happens after I go to McDonald's.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Garen, top lane, who did really, really well into him. But had some nice moments. They still lost both games, and then in game 2 was on Kennen, but kind of got focused down by GDN, who is the #1 team in the second division. And then for Tambourine King, he had a few nice plays on Alistar in the first game, but the map overall, they were set behind early and fast. So it was fairly difficult for Tambourine, or nearly anybody on the side of BLR, to have any impact in the first game. But in game 2, his now, I guess we could call it signature rel pick, he was in good tandem going with his jungler, who is playing jungle right now for Mystic Cats, Maye, with the Nocturne pick right there, focusing down Yugi TFT, and getting, setting up a nice place for the likes of Fish Baby Bot and Perpetual Tilt to do a lot of damage and stuff like that. So, pretty nice from Tambo. Wish I could have seen more out of Quadratic. That's about it.
All right, Chris, do you have your players ready to go?
Yes, I had Aruyan and Cornstar. So I'll start with Cornstar. Their team 1-1 on the week, winning the first game and losing the second game. And game 1 was a very, very strong performance. He actually ended up going top lane with his Aurelia. He picked Aurelia into a favorable GP matchup. And boy, let me tell you, that was rough for the Gangplank. And we watched it live. I think it was on the main channel. So
yeah, I believe it was.
Go back and watch that. It was a very nice performance. And then game 2, not as strong. He picked the Zed mid into Anivia and did not really have that great of a time. I think he ended up getting solo killed. So not as strong of a game 2, but definitely a very, very strong game 1 out of him. And then for Aruyan, he played Nocturne both games in his matchup versus BFC, and he ended up getting MVP game 1. I think he ended up 3-1-11 or something like that. But strong presence over the map. And then game 2 didn't get MVP, but also I think he ended up like 2-6 and a lot of assists as well. So picking the Nocturne, just knowing that it kind of does well into the BFC strategy. So I think that he played well as well in both of his games.
Sorry, I had to get onto my dog. He's a little restless at the moment. My picks for this last week were, if I can get to my sheet, were Kaiba Lol and Yomimasu. I'll start with Kaiba. Kaiba played Viego and Kane. His stat line overall between the two games was 24, 5, and 17, and led to him having an overall KDA of 8.2. So Kaiba had a week where he basically popped off. He seemed more like the player that we've seen from Adam in seasons past, which is really nice to see, seeing as, you know, he's been, I guess, like, maybe next to like Mae and Neil on the Canes, like he's probably like the assassin jungle player in the PMLCS. So it's been super nice to see that come back from this last week. He was obnoxious on his champions. He's playing the most obnoxious champions available right now in the jungle of Viego and Kane, probably Alvalin, but you know he's never going to get that pick either. And so going forward, like you may think that his pool is a little weak since he's gravitating towards these assassin picks, but I don't think that there's going to be really much of an answer that's presented against his assassin style junglers until like Div 2 supports and junglers start stepping up their tracking and their warding of him. And until that happens, he's going to just run the table on these picks if they start falling into his hands. So full props to Adam on his excellent week, and congrats on the 2-0 to his guys. For my upper division pick, it was our boy Yomimasu. He played Lilia in both games, 1, 3, and 7 game 1, and 4, 5, 5 in game 2 for an overall KDA of 2.1. And in uncommon fashion, Finale finally lost their first game of the weekly series. So they flipped the script on us there, but it's one of those things that, like, I would like to say it's thanks to Sean, but I honestly think it was more for Cornstar taking that favorable matchup into top lane with the Aurelia pick, as Chris mentioned, and really kind of catching our team off guard in that regard and getting that, you know, that GP versus Aurelia diff there. Game 2 was more of a story of ease of execution, I think, on the side of our team. We were down early. Yomimasu's team had the lead, but we ended up slipping a couple dragons in our favor, and then eventually it got into that situation where the solo kills that were against Cornstar started to kind of stack against him. We got the mountain drakes. We got a little beefy for it. So overall, it was one of those things of like you couldn't really feel him in that game. And so this is my call out to you, Sean. A little bit of a muted performance this week. I want to see better next week. You're not going to be my player to watch next week.
What do you mean muted? I do the same thing every week. I play Lilia, I don't get kills, and then we barely either win or lose.
I want to see more than Lilia every week. I want to see
a different champion.
I want to see Jarvan again. Like, give me something that goes in.
Jarvan,
like
Rumble,
like some big plays or something. Rumble, get some Rumble.
Wait, Chris, are you saying that I should have played Rumble and you're the guys over there who could have not banned it?
Wait,
I played Rumble.
Yeah, you played Rumble game 1, and we kind of forgot that champ existed. And honestly, I don't know if it would have changed our bans in the first game. I don't know.
Regardless, I want to see more of a high impact, like early game style jungler, or something that has a little bit more of a tendency to gank harder.
Well, luckily the next game is on the new patch of Jungle for Everybody for idiots, so it'll be great.
Then I want to see Maokai jungle, or I don't love you anymore.
Perfect. We're annulling our arrangement. It's fine.
So that wraps up everything for our players to watch from last week. What are your guys' players to watch for this coming week? My eyes are going to be on No Not November. My boy down there is the engaged master of Div 2, and then also the love of my life. That's not my wife, Christopher Perpetual Tilt Michael. Those are my guys to watch for next week. Who do you guys have?
I got Garfield Juice, because he's going up against Chris's old boy, Aruyan, who's been kind of smurfing a bit lately. And then Flesh. Flesh is my pick to week in the top because I think he'll be instrumental to securing a 2-0 hopefully over Finale, or will we see more Finale with the 1-1s going back and forth? That matchup between him and Legends is pretty epic. So.
All right.
Justin, who do you got?
Nope. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay,
you got it. You got it.
Aha! I win.
Before he takes it.
Before he takes it, I'm gonna get my picks in. My bottom, or not bottom, second division team or person is the real JLP, since he's talking all this mad shit in our Twitch chat right now, talking about some he's facing me and he's gonna get wrecked. All right, let's see it. I'm gonna put you as my players to watch. That's what you get. And then as far as the first division, my eyes are gonna go towards the likes of Bear Jr. I think that he's going to be pretty key in their matchup. They play CS Gap, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Neil's Crab Shack? Yeah, I think that this is going to be the key matchup. We got two Yasuo mains in the mid, dude. And I'm ready to see it. I want to see who comes out on top. Which Yasuo main is better? Can you guys just actually play it blind pick and let them both, make them both play Yasuo?
Actually, we'll do this. We'll give one Yasuo and the other one Yone and see who comes out on top. It'll be like some epic anime bullshit where like Mordekaiser we'll have two Mordekaisers and they'll both ult them and they just fight in the Death Realm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah. So those are my two.
Justin,
it's a good thing that Chris went first because I was actually thinking about the real JLP here too. Anyway, my second div person was actually gonna be Asta 2 Staria on the same team on Doms. I've been playing a little bit of Duoku with him, and he has the mind for the game. I think he's gonna be crucial against who do they play this week? I just looked it up. 4 top, and we know 4 top's on a roll right now, but I think he's going to be crucial if they want to take some games off of them. For my first division, I'm going across the lane from me this week and picking a support. It's going to be Juicebox. He's one of my favorite players to play against in the support role. It's going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it.
Going to be an easy 2-0 victory for Finale. We're to break the consistency this week.
But see, that's the whole point. If you break the consistency, now you're inconsistent, and we can't trust you anymore.
Right, but I need to get like at least that extra.
The playoffs.
I gotta get that nod in the playoffs. So we're gonna make draft diff the 2-0 week for the playoff run, and then everybody else will 1-1 through the rest of the way.
Jesus, I hope not.
I'm gonna write your picks down before I forget. So we're gonna table our highlights for this week. And we're instead going to push them off into next week if we have a little extra time. We only had 2 clips that got submitted, so if you saw that thread, you want to take a look at those clips, go over to the PMA League of Legends page and pull those up and take a quick gander at them. Beyond anything else, Sean, give us a quick too long didn't watch of the pro scene.
All right, so MSI has been going on all this past weekend, all the way up until today, and it just finished the first group stage. And I say the first group stage because the Rumble stage is also just a 1 group stage. We had the 3 teams from Group A, which was RNG, Pentanet, and Unicorns of Love, and tiebreaker game came out, and it was Pentanet that came out on top, actually, which is pretty crazy considering they're the only non-Riot affiliated team, which is pretty cool overall that they were able to, make something happen for them, give there some regional pride and everything, which is really nice to see. And obviously RNG not dropping a single game. Overall in the group stage, we went to Group B, and that's where Mad Lions, PSG, Istanbul Wildcats or Fast Pay Wildcats were, as well as Pain Gaming. And that was actually a really fun group overall to watch. But in the end, the two expected teams got out in PSG and Mad, and they had to play a tiebreaker game for first, which really didn't matter. So I don't know why they played it, because they both were going in. It's not like coming out in first does anything for the next stage. And then today, this morning in Iceland, your boys Cloud9 beat Damwon Kia, which was absolutely insane. Mountain Soul coming to save Cloud9's ass in both of their games actually today that they needed to win. And then DFM almost beat Damwon Kia again today. And then Cloud9 took care of business by beating DFM, which was kind of a snoozer in a lot of ways. More just looking at Cloud9 just playing like really, really standard kind of stuff. DFM is no slouch for sure. They had some moments of coming back and trying to take down C9, but C9 advances. And then so starting on, I believe, the 14th, which is this Friday. So 14th, 15th, 16th, and like 17th, 18th, I think. I think it's actually 5 days long. There is going to be another best of one round robin, just like we saw previously, of all 6 teams playing against each other. And then the top 4 go into a semifinals finals thing. And that's the way that's going to pan out. A lot of people still not incredibly sold on Cloud9, but they are probably looking the second best if you were going off of recent performances. RNG obviously being the first, but they had the easiest group. So it'll be really interesting. It's going to be cool that we get to see a lot of good games going forward in this next one. I think everyone's questioning the format, but I don't think it's that bad of a format. It also gives teams like Pain, Fast Pay, and all these other minor regions the chance to go up against some of the top tier talents from around the world, which we've seen them perform fairly well against. And then you have, notable names that come out like the Holy Phoenixes, and found out that BRTT is 30 something years old. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. And that's about it.
Quick shout out: the Mystic Cats won their game, and they had a perfect game at that. Don't believe anybody died, if I am correct.
Nobody died. I don't think they lost any towers or a Rift Herald or Dragon.
So
yeah,
awesome job to those guys. Be sure to give them props if you get into the chats with them tonight. And then other than that, I think that's all that we've got going on. Let's get this guy closing out here. Sean, what you been doing that's not League of Legends? What's something good that's happened to you this week?
Wait, we got to do predictions for this week.
Oh, do we have to? Oh, yeah. Thank you for correcting me. Predictions.
Every time.
That's I completely overlooked that. So let me wrap up the predictions from last week since you weren't here for that. So our Exodus versus NCS match was a 1-1. The points for those go to myself and Chris. CS Gap versus Finn was a 1-1, and me and Justin called that one. Draft Diff with BLR was a 1-1. Sean and Chris got points there. D's versus GG Easy was an 0-2 for GG Easy, and none of us got that right.
No. Whoa. GG Easy did not get a 2-0.
Oh, the other way around?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wait. This changes things. This I may have told you incorrectly. Justin?
Yeah, because AOT 1-1 with NCS. All the first division games were 1-1, and all of the second division games were 2-0s.
Mm-hmm.
Gankty's Nuts 2-0 GG Easy, Foretop 2-0 B, Teacock 2-0 BIM, Doms 2-0 over BFC.
Okay. So then that takes our point differential. That I had the other ones right. That's the only one that I had wrong down here. So that gives us so Exodus versus NCS is Jake and Chris. CS Gap versus Finn is Jake and Justin. Draft Diff versus BLR, Sean and Chris. D's versus GG Easy. It was me and Chris then. So I got a point there, and Chris got the point. And then Four Tops versus Bees. This was Justin was the only one that got this one right. And then Teacock versus Bim was you said it was 2-0, and me, Sean, and Justin got this one right. Chris was the sad sucker on the other side. Whatever. And Blitz versus Doms. Justin is also the only one that got this right. So that would give Justin 1, 2, 3, 4. That would give me 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. So me and Justin tied this week, and we both get a point in our standings. So that would put Justin at having a point, me at having 2 points, Chris at having a point, and Sean is the. Do you have 2 points?
I think I have 2 points. Okay,
I'll have to go back and double check that. So Sean, you're still the only one sitting out.
I'm just trying to make it easier for y'all. That's okay.
So let's get into the quick rundown of those predictions. You got the thing pulled up, Chris?
Yeah. So first match we got is going to be CS Gap versus Neil's Crab Shack.
Neil's Crab Shack versus CS Gap. I'm gonna give this one a 0-2, and I'm gonna favor CS Gap here. So CS Gap gets a 2-0.
Ooh.
I believe in you, Sean.
Well, then, see, I can't say 2-0 now because I wanted to be the one to say 2-0. But now that you believe in me, it's going to be a 1-1. But I'm still going to go 2-0. So
what?
No, I will say and put the bravado out that it's going to be a 2-0. But because Jake believes in us, it'll be a 1-1.
I'm going to say 1-1. I think these teams are a lot closer than you put them on to be. I think Neil's Crab Shack can easily take a game off of CS Gap.
Chris?
2-0, Sean.
Oh,
what?
2-0 CS Gap.
Ooh, Justin's the odd man out here. All right, and you said this was a 1-1, right, Justin?
Yes.
All right, who's our next one?
It is going to be Bung's Last Resort versus AOT. I'm going to go ahead and tell you Bung's Last Resort. First of all, we're not going to be last place in the split. We're going to 2-0 this match. And then our other, that will obviously put Axelotls on top, falling to 4 and 6. And then BLR will get 2-0'd and we'll end up 4th and we'll make playoffs.
Yeah, the magic number is 5 right now for anyone not named Draft Diff. There is still a possibility that there's a 4-way tie for first, right? Because of who plays who. But
in theory, yep.
But God, I hope to God that doesn't happen.
It won't because we're gonna 2-0 this week. Easy clap. Get fucked, Grant, if you're still in the chat.
Sean, what's your predictions?
Jesus fucking Christ. I think that's gonna be a 1-1. Mainly because if I am gonna favor someone, I actually favor BLR. But I don't know, man. There's champion pool issues on both sides, and if certain players don't get certain champions, then it doesn't matter. Like for how well the rest of the map is playing is the way I feel about it, which is kind of funny to say when we're talking about first division, right? As I was kind of like gently flaming on a cast the other day about low damage comps for for the second division. It's a champ pool difference in the first division, which is really, really interesting.
All right, Justin, who you got?
I'm with Chris on this one.
Hell yeah.
BLR goes 2-0 against AOT.
Let's go.
All right. I'm calling this one as a 1-1. AOT's right there with the finale squad. Never doubt our ability to 1-1 anybody. What's the next game?
Fen DD.
Yep.
Fen DD. This is where you doubt the ability for us to 1-1. I say 2-0.
You think we 2-0 draft Diff?
I think we 2-0.
No, you don't.
Jake, he's more confident than I am.
Jake, yeah, okay.
I think no, fight me. Let's
Jake,
go.
If you guys 2-0 draft Diff, I will give you a project skin of your choice.
All right, I want that
It's gonna be
project
Senna.
when it comes out.
Yeah.
2-0, here we go.
I don't. No. I think you guys could potentially 1-1 them. Yeah, so it's a 1-1. I think I'm gonna give you guys the potential.
Okay.
But
Right, you keep doubting.
I do not doubt your ability to 1-1.
Sean.
Yeah, I also agree it's going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Those guys are mad last week. Playing with those guys last week gave me a little bit of insight when I subbed in for them.
They were pissed to lose to the worst team in the league. Yeah, I know, man.
Well, it was more so like I think that they realized that slapping a Zach on second pick and just saying that it was like the best pick in the world when we could have literally just there were so many jungle picks available that we could have saved to like pick 4 or something like that to just get better comp. But I think they're gonna be like they have a point to prove. Like we're not slipping. A lot of these guys have like, you know, a lot of vested interest. A lot of them are also on the Mystic Cats right now. So, you know, if they're perfect gaming some other scrubs over there on the Blue Otter stream, when they go up against better competition in finale, it's still going to be a 2-0.
Sure. Okay. Sure. All right, fine. Yeah, Justin, come on. Have some confidence, man.
Okay. So I wanna
preface.
I'm not gonna preface anything. We go 2-0.
Yeah, there we go. That's the swagger I want. That's the swagger I want right there.
Yeah. Okay, you can have swagger, but can't you also have logic?
Listen. Okay, so one thing I did want to say, they practiced. I think it was last week. They didn't have Juice Box, so I subbed in for their team practice. I see the weaknesses that they have, especially in the last 2 weeks where they went 1-1. It's not out of the realm of possibility that our team can 2-0 or 1-1 them. I don't think we go 0-2.
I don't think he goes 0-2 either. That's why I said 1-1.
I just like if y'all go 1-1, it won't shock me. It's been the storyline all year, and you know, in my opinion, even though Flesh is like the guy to watch, y'all's hopes ride or die on Syracuse, especially in this matchup. Him versus Skiz, like that's gonna be a good matchup to watch. I know that the guys on draft if they're probably like got a fire lit under their ass. So
yeah, and it's gonna keep burning because it's not. Ain't shit gonna come this way to Dallas. They're gonna get 2-0. They're gonna keep staying mad, and then they're gonna run back to the next week and be like, teammate's gonna rate me at the bottom. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not even making sense. Clapping them cheeks. Let's go, Steven. All right. Anyway, what's our next game?
It's a pent up rage there. I love it.
To speak.
It'll be a fun game.
It is gonna be GEG Gunji Gang versus B.
Bees.
Quick question before I do my prediction: are you going to be there this week to draft for them?
It's if the game is on Sunday, I think it's on Sunday. My game looks like it's going to be on Sunday. It depends on the time. So,
can I abstain because I need to know if like Jacob's drafting for them or not, man? That was some like the difference is like literally like pitch black to like Angel's light. I'm gonna go 1-1 because I actually think Stormion is coming back this week, but I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
John's
a factor.
1-1.
I'm gonna say 2-0 for Gunji Gang.
No faith. No faith.
Sorry, buddy.
Justin?
Chris, you gotta do the spice before, or I guess after me, because I was gonna go 2-0 Gunji Gang.
Hey, extra zesty boy. What's up?
You're so
stupid, dude.
Stupid.
You're so stupid. What's up? Extra zesty.
Full faith in my boys, because if I can't be there, I'm gonna get them a draft layout. So they're just he's gonna read it off, and they're just gonna be like, "Okay, this is what Jake said to do, and that's what we're gonna roll with." So
yeah, that's what.
Is that what they're
gonna
do?
That's exactly how it's gonna happen. Right, CJ?
Hey, CJ, you in chat? Is that what's gonna happen? Because if that's what's gonna happen, I'll switch it to a 2-0. But if y'all are like, we're gonna look at the cheat sheet and then like put in different answers, then it's different.
Anyway, what's the next game?
It's gonna be GDN versus Teacock.
That's 2-0 for me, boss, on Gank These Nuts. How do you bet against him? I'm riding with my boy Kevin, actually.
My boy.
Kevin.
Let's see. Let me write that down. I'll follow with that 2-0. Teacock's name makes me giggle, but I'm gonna still follow with a 2-0. I'm gonna believe in Kevin this week.
Yeah, 2-0. I don't know if you can bet against Gank These Nuts.
Wow.
They're kind of like a. Okay, so I did say 0-2 draft diff, but it's hard to it's hard to bet against draft diff in the upper division. It's hard to bet against Gank These Nuts down there.
Down there in the nuts.
Down there in the second.
1-1.
Oh,
1-1. Ooh.
okay.
Yeah, I think Kaiba Lowell, your boy, gonna be popping out.
All right. What's our next game?
It's 4 top versus Doms.
This is the match of the week for me.
It's gonna be a spicy
I agree.
one.
It's gonna be a good one.
All right. What's everybody's predictions there?
I mean, probably a 1-1. I think they're very evenly matched as far as like even like I would say maybe a slight edge to Doms, but I think they're very evenly matched across the board. So I'm gonna go with 1-1.
All right. Dustin?
2-0 Doms.
Oh, well. Sean?
I'll go 1-1. My player to watch is in this game with Garfield Juice because he's going against Aruyan. I do think that 4-top has shown kind of consistency of the likes of Finale and Axolotls on tap from the top division. They're either winning or they're tying. So, and they generally have like pretty solid team comps. But it's just going to really depend. And I also just think that Doms with Aruyan he's like the catalyst for that team. So I think it'll be a really, really close matchup. Make sure that y'all get this one streamed. So please go do the stuff to help us, guys. I don't want to do 3 different replays this week. Also, send in your fucking stats. That's so frustrating. All right? That's a fuck you from your commissioner. If you don't send in stats.
I will have the cast post coming out sometime tonight when all the matches are decided, or maybe tomorrow at the latest. But yeah, we'll have a post.
All right. So our next game though is BIM versus BFC, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna call this one an 0-2 in favor of BFC.
I have it the other way.
I would usually agree with you, but I watched BFC throw some type of lead or some type of game. The game state wasn't necessarily a lead, but I'm gonna go 1-1. This is a if BFC 2-0s, their playoff hunt is alive, and if Bimmy Jimmy Power Hour, which is what you have a 2-0 for Bimmy Jimmy.
Yeah.
If that happens, if they both 2-0, they really keep their playoff hopes alive. But if they go 1-1, which I believe, they're kind of putting themselves in like really, really tough positions with these last 2 weeks coming up after this. So I got 1-1.
I think it's 2-0 for Bimmy Jimmy for me.
In a make it or break it series, Justin, who you got?
I got 2-0 BFC.
All right.
Okay, so that wraps up all of our predictions. Now we can do the sign off, Jake.
Now we can do the sign off. Okay,
Jake literally forgets every week about predictions.
I have a doc in front of me. You guys have access to the doc. If I'm forgetting something, put it on the doc.
That's okay. Wait,
come on, man.
Go ahead.
I'm waiting.
No, go ahead.
No. Please go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
No, he just didn't. He decided not to put the predictions on there because he forgets that that's like the main thing about this whole podcast that we do. Because he's so worried about the contest and making all the rules about it, and he's like, "Oh wait, what?
Klug in chat, clips are going for next week because we only had 2, so we're just gonna show them all next week. That way we can make it more of a segment instead of just showing 2 clips.
Exactly. All right, so Sean, we're gonna close out. What are good things that have happened to you this week, and what are you doing that's not League of Legends?
Well, I'm back in Arizona. There is nothing that I'm doing that is not League of Legends right now. Unfortunately. Yeah, I got Supernova stuff going on this week. We're trying out different positions. Qualifiers for Cup start this weekend as well. I'm just binging a lot of League of Legends. Good stuff that's happened to me. I've kind of befriended one of the security guards here. His name's Keith. He's like a 50-some-odd-year-old black man. He's super cool. And we just chat. So it's nice to have basically my only friend outside of Neil who lives in Tucson. So.
All right. Justin. Sorry, I'm playing with my dog.
Yeah, as I was telling y'all earlier, work has been just so busy. Tomorrow's my first day off in like 20 days, something like that. So I've been going outside of work though in my commutes or like if I'm back home. I've been watching MSI, playing League. Outside of League, though, a lot of Valorant, like every night kind of thing. So I've been getting pretty big into that. Setting up some new stuff on my stream because I want to get back into that as soon as work stops, like slows down a little bit anyway. But yeah, that's what's been going on.
Hell yeah, Chris, what's been going on with you?
Well, I got my bachelor weekend coming up. About to get litty. What's up? I get married in 11 days. No pressure. Let's go. Best day of my life coming up. But yeah, so that's been my main thing outside of League right now. Doing that, and hopefully after we can get some time to stream. But it just depends on work and post wedding stuff. So we'll see.
I get the honeymoon action in there.
Yeah. That's gonna be a little bit put off because of COVID stuff, but
the bid.
Yeah.
Well, for myself, I had my interview with Fake God yesterday, so that was my positive thing that's happened this week. And as far as things that I'm doing that's not League of Legends, I've been grinding the hell out of Monster Hunter Rise. If you guys have got a Switch and you like playing Monster Hunter, pick that thing up because it's super cool. The wire bug things that they have in there now that increases all the mobility for all the slow weapons is super fun to play around with. And it's just a good time overall. They just dropped the 2.0 content update, which gave us a dragon that hasn't been in the game for like 4 games, and it's a ton of fun. Just play that game; it's great. I love Monster Hunter. But that's all I've got.
Sean's got something.
Sean,
I just realized I have been watching Jackie Chan Adventures and Zoids.
Ah, throwbacks.
Yeah, I've been on a nostalgia craze. So I've watched all of season 1 of Jackie Chan Adventures. I'm currently watching Zoids. Oh, and I watched the Stone and Bone or Shadow and Bone thing on Netflix. Yeah. Oh my god, it's good. It's really good. Apparently there's a book series. I watched the whole thing. The main girl is my wife. I love her. I want to marry her. If you're watching this, because I know she's obviously interested in League of Legends fraternity leagues.
She's gonna be in the chat.
Yeah, of course, she's my wife. Please, I'm 30 and lonely, and I will make you. Well, you'll make me less lonely, and I'll still be 30.
You'll make him a happy man, and he'll make you
learn League of. I'll teach you about jungle pathing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it when you tell me about camp respawn timers.
All right, I'm getting ready to host Blue Water League. Do you have like anything else to say that's relevant?
That's it. Blue Water League's going on right
Hey,
now.
Jungle Pathing's pretty relevant to love.
Mystic Cats are 1-0 right now. Let's see if they can get another perfect game. Chris, take us over to Blue Water League so we can watch our boys.
And don't copy pasta spam because they'll ban you in the chat.
All right, we're hosting.
Hell yeah.
All right.